if you haven't seen it, the previous episode that we did on this channel, we just did an episode now on our live stream shortly before starting this one, where we were going through exactly what Miss Nokwe was alleging, judging from the phone call that she dropped with the police officer on her Facebook page, and also the story that she shared in letter format in 2024, October 17th of 2024, where she was detailing exactly what happened. And then we also compared the statement that Mr. Khoza dropped on his IG page, where he was telling his version of the story. So we were comparing those two stories. So if you haven't seen that stream yet, go check it out on my channel. And yeah, man, I'm going to put timestamps on this stream as well, in case you want to jump to certain parts of the stream once it has been uploaded on my channel. And towards the end of the stream, I'll also link a separate stream that you guys can click and watch. Okay, so without any further ado, without wasting any more time, let's go away.
Hello, Nirvana.
Hi, Baba njani?
Ngiyaphila njani?
Ngikhona.
Ngiyaxolisa ukuhijack ne?
No, it's okay. What's up?
You are live on the show with you are live on Piano Pulse. Music Pulse. Shit, sorry. You are live on Music Pulse. Thakgi is here.
Hi, Thakgi. How are you?
Nota is also here.
Hi, how are you?
I'm sure they're good. So who wants to start with the questions? You want to ask questions? Okay, first of all, man, because I know you, I'm going to ask you, how are you? Before I get to what's going on, how are you feeling, bro, after the whole thing we saw on the internet?
I'm all right. I mean, I'm with family, and I think more than anything, I've just been like crying a lot because like, it's just so crazy to me that I've been spending.
Why is Nota
like
laughing?
10,
Let me
11
like,
years.
hold on.
I've just
Is
been
Nota
like
laughing?
crying a lot because like, it's just so crazy to me that I've been spending
Nota is a fool, though.
like 10, 11 years of
Look
my
at him trying to
life
hold this. Oh my
chasing
goodness, this guy.
this thing in media and in acting, and the way I'm
What is so
chasing
funny
it is
about
so
that?
messed up because it's in a system that's set to abuse me, you know? So I'm just like, what have I been doing? You know, I'm begging the people that hurt me to, you know, respect me. Like, I've been crying, and it's like tears of joy, and then also like just like letting go of like so much pain that I've
Tears
been
of joy?
holding in my chest. And it was like coming out of my body, like my energy, my essence.
What was joyful about that?
I felt off. So I'm just happy to be free. I don't want it anymore, and I'm done.
Okay.
It can like feed itself. I'm not gonna feed it anymore.
Okay. For those who don't have context, can you comfortable telling us shortly, like briefly, what happened? What is the actually assault?
Yeah, so I think I'll start with the definition of sexual assault, because a lot of people don't have the same definitions of sexual assault, and they don't understand what that is, right? Within the definition of sexual assault, there is rape, right? Which is penetrative, basically forcing someone to have sex with you. It's penetrative, right? And then there's sexual assault, right? Which is, which also encompasses rape, but you don't necessarily have to have been penetrated to have been violated your personal body, your personal space, your personal boundaries in a sexual way. Someone crossing that line and that boundary of your sexuality, which doesn't mean sex all the time, right? So what had happened was, like, I'm sure you guys know that, like, on film sets, you basically like when sex scenes are being performed, or any other intimate scenes are being performed, it's usually rehearsed, right? So
Yeah.
it becomes it becomes almost robotic, because you know exactly how, like, what the next step is for whatever intimacy is going on, right? And there are now intimacy coordinators on set, which are meant to be the people that basically manage the relationship between the people who are doing, like, intimacy scenes, right? So they will basically draft a contract and find out from you, what are you comfortable showing with your body, and what are you comfortable doing with your body, and what are you not comfortable doing with your body, right? And even there, even if an intimacy coordinator is not present on set, or if you're dealing with an intimacy coordinator who perhaps their values are a little screwed and they're actually causing more damage in managing the dynamic between you and your co-star, you also talk with production to kind of like try and cultivate a sense of safety doing those very vulnerable and intimate scenes, right? So my conversation with the production company was, hey, this is a story about rape and murder, right? I want to tell this story because this is what women and children are going through in South Africa, right? But I don't want to perform the rape, meaning there's not going to be any thrusting. I didn't want that, right? I didn't want to emulate the rape at all, right? If there's one thing that I emulated on screen was consensual sex. That's what I emulated. And for me, the boundary was I'm not going to emulate and expose myself to that kind of, I guess
trauma.
It's vulnerable for me because I've been raped before. So I was like, I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm going to trigger myself, but I know the line with me, which is I can perform and pretend as though it's happening through my performance, through the screaming and the shouts and the shouting and whatever. But he doesn't have to thrust me. He doesn't have to move his waist back and forth as though we are dry humping. That doesn't need to happen. And we all agreed and we workshopped it. So now, just before the scene, and we workshopped it extensively. For weeks we were talking about it and we worked on the scene. So there was no intimacy, only stunting. It was a stunt, right? Because it involved him stabbing the character, him doing all sorts of stuff and pushing her over the car bonnet, right? Just before we did the scene, my co-star says to me, yo, Nirvana, I think in that last moment, just give it a little flinch, you know? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, no, just give it a little flinch because that's how SAFTAs are attained. And I was like, okay, but what does that mean? We've already discussed the boundaries of the scene. Like, there's no thrusting. Like, we're not going to take it any further. I'm going to perform the scene in the way that I will perform the scene. And he's like, okay, but I'm just saying, just give it a think. We do the scene. He pushes me over the car bonnet. He lays on top of me on the car bonnet and he whispers whatever he says. And this is a close-up, right? Then he comes out the shot. He's no longer in the frame. And he thrusts me in that compromised position. His private parts were now in my booty, right?
Wait, private part, his dick.
So let me clarify this, right? Because I said it's not rape, right? Okay. So it wasn't penetration. That's the clarity I want to give. It's not. There was no penetration. He was clothed. I was clothed as well, but I'm in a compromised position. I'm wearing a tight that's pretty much a bum shot, and because he lifted me, because he pushed me over the car bonnet, the skirt that I was wearing, the skirt that they chose for me to wear, it showed my bum, right?
Chat, all of this is in the context of a sexual crime scene that's being acted out. Please don't take this as literal. Yes, everything that she's saying happened literally. Yes, it happened literally. But now she's not complaining about the scene itself. She's complaining about what happened after the scene or after the shot was taken. They had to stop everything right then and there when she had her body on the bonnet of the vehicle and she had her back turned against him. He was supposed to stop the scene right then and there, but he didn't, according to what she's saying. This is all alleged, by the way. I can't say that enough. I can't use that word enough. Every sentence that I utter from now on is just going to have the word alleged in it. I'm sorry.
I was in a compromised position, right? So he decided when he got out of the frame to then thrust me. And so now no one called cut. And I'm just screaming and screaming now. And then he calls cut. And then the director comes on the set and he's like, you did a great job. It's all right. My co-star kisses my hand, right? And he's like, please, let's take a walk. And I say no. And my director's like, no, just take a walk with your co-star. I take a walk with him, and I'm like, am I allowed to swear on this show?
Yeah,
Don't what you must
yeah,
say.
like,
this is not some SABC bullshit.
Okay, I'm like, what the fuck was that? Why did you thrust me? There was a clear boundary. My boundary was, you do not thrust me, right? And then he says, have grace, Nirvana. He's like, I take full accountability for what I did, but have grace. It's a 10 scene and a 10 set.
So she claims that Home Slice took accountability of what happened. But if you read Mr. Khoza's statement on Instagram, especially paragraph number 2, he says that, I believe the allegations raised by Ms. Nokwe are serious and must always be treated with the serious nature they deserve, not only for Ms. Nokwe, for Ms. Nokwe's sake, but for victims of sexual assault in and out of the film and TV industry. I stand by victims of sexual assault. However, I deny that I sexually assaulted, thrusted upon, or committed any misconduct in respect of Ms. Nokwe and the production. So he blatantly denies. Which is in contrary or different to what Ms. Nokwe says here on Music Pulse. I'll play it back about 1, 2, 3.
You do not trust me, right? And then he says, have grace, Nirvana. He's like, I take full accountability for what I did.
She alleges that he said that he takes full accountability for what he did. But in his statement, he's saying that I deny that I sexually assaulted, thrusted upon, or committed any misconduct in respect of Ms. Nokwe. Who's lying in this regard? Who's lying between these two people? One of them is lying clearly. We don't know who it is exactly. We'll figure it out.
But have grace. It's a 10 scene and a 10 set. Have grace. And I'm like, what do you mean have grace? So as we're going back and forth, one of the directors comes, and it wasn't the director working on the day, but he's a director who was going to continue with the other episodes of the show. So he was present on the day. He comes and he was like, Nirvana, do you need anything? Do you need tea? And I'm like, yeah, I would like some tea. And then he kind of stood there whilst we're having this back and forth, and then we're called back to the floor, right? On the floor, the main director asks, okay, so guys, are we okay? What's going on? Can we continue with the shoot? And my co-star says, and then I say, well, I'm comfortable to do the scene with him again if he doesn't thrust me this time. He shouldn't thrust me this time. I can do it with him again. He shouldn't thrust me this time. And he's like, no, I'm not comfortable to do the scene with Nirvana again. I take full accountability for what I did, which is thrust her, but I'm not comfortable to do it with her again. Okay. And then I said, so here's another important point, and this is the last one I'll make. There was a double, right? The stunt double is meant to have my frame, and you know, we're meant to look similar in height and in body. The stunt double that they hired was a visibly pregnant woman. She was about 6 months pregnant, and it was so visible. And it was just like, why would you hire, like, the reason I offered.
So Miss Nokwe does insist that, you know what, Shapo, there's a stunt double, but I would like to continue on with the scene. So she does acknowledge that Home Slice did say to her that I'm not comfortable continuing on doing the scene with Miss Nirvana anymore because of whatever reason he has. She, however, refuses to have the stunt double perform the scene because she felt like this.
To do it again if he doesn't thrust me is because they hired it. That he can't do it with the stunt double. He wouldn't be able to do it with the stunt double. So yeah, I know it's a mouthful, but yeah, that's what it is.
Wait. I'm going to play it back because she mentioned something about the stunt double being 6 months pregnant or something of that nature. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. I'll just play it back a biggie. 25 seconds.
And in body. The stunt double that they hired was a visibly pregnant woman. She was about 6 months pregnant, and it was so visible. And it was just like, why would you hire, like, the reason I offered to do it again if he doesn't thrust me is because they hired it. That he can't do it with the stunt double. He would.
Yes, he can, ma'am. Yes, he can, Miss Nirvana. That is not up to you to decide if he can do it with the stunt double or not. Whether the stunt double is seemingly pregnant or not. Yes, she's similar with you in height and complexion, whatever. It's not up to you to decide if Mr. Nokwe is gonna, Mr. Khoza is gonna do it with you or not. Okay, it's up to the production team to decide. And if he's comfortable with doing it with stunt double, then why not? It's not up to you to decide, man. So she insisted, Miss Nokwe insisted that no, you guys are not gonna do this with the stunt double. I wanna do it myself, as long as he doesn't thrust me. Okay, so she still put herself in a compromising position, even though she wasn't comfortable with the whole situation. She still put herself in that situation, even though Mr. Khoza was also still uncomfortable with continue on with the act with her. He preferred to do it with another woman, being the stunt double, but she felt that it's not gonna be suitable for him to do it with the stunt double because she's seemingly pregnant. Unfortunately, ma'am, you shouldn't care about that. If you really want to be out of the scene and not do the, if you're really not comfortable with the whole thing, then you shouldn't be doing it in the first place then. Chat, am I crazy? Hold on. Am I crazy? Hey, okay, whatever, man.
Wouldn't be. Why would you hire? Like, the reason I offered to do it again if he doesn't thrust me is because they hired that he can't do it with the stunt double.
Yes,
he
he
wouldn't
can.
be able to do it with the stunt double. So yeah, that's, I know it's a mouthful, but yeah. That's what it is.
I'm gonna ask a couple of questions, bro. Obviously, I'm sorry going through this. I know you're strong. I don't know if you're strong enough to beat this, but I have a
Paragraph 3 of Mr. Khoza's statement does coincide with what Ms. Nokwe is sharing on MacG's podcast, Music Pulse with Sfiso and Thakgi and Nota. It reads that the incident pertains to a fully clothed violent stunt scene, which was discussed beforehand, choreographed and rehearsed with Ms. Nokwe, directors of photography, the director and stunt coordinator. In addition, prior to the scene being shot, a stunt double was offered for Ms. Nokwe, okay, which she declined. Every action I performed on set that night was strictly in line with the script. The choreography agreed upon with the directors and stunt coordinator and under the supervision of senior production personnel rather. Okay, so paragraph 3 agrees with everything that Ms. Nokwe is sharing here on the podcast with Sfiso on the phone call. All right, so the only difference is that he says that everything was in script. Yeah. He does agree, however, as she has already stipulated, that she did decline that a stunt double performs the scene. Now, her declining the stunt double is based off of the fact that she felt like the stunt double wouldn't do a better job as her because the stunt double was seemingly pregnant. So it wouldn't be appropriate, according to her, for the stunt double to do it, even though the stunt double was there to perform her work duties as contractually obligated. Okay, production teams have stunt doubles. The stunt double is well aware of the script. She knows exactly what's going on in the scene, and the stunt double was okay with performing that scene. But according to Miss Nokwe, nope, she can't do it. I want to do it. Miss Nokwe insisted that she's going to put herself in a compromising position as long as she's provided with therapy after the whole ordeal. Yes, she knew exactly what she was getting herself into. She agreed to everything that was going on. Okay? But the line was drawn. Do not thrust me. We are not going to imply, we're going to imply that this was a grape. You know what I'm saying? With a G. Please Google grape. This was a grape, but we're not going to act it out. You feel what I'm saying? We're going to show that, say, this led to a grape situation, but we're not going to act it out. This was all agreed on set with the production and all the actors over there. Both Miss Nokwe and Mr. Khoza were uncomfortable with performing this, but they did it anyway. Let's keep going.
Question. I'm sorry going through this. I know you're strong. I don't know if you're strong enough to beat this, but I have a question. So, my question is, has he flirted with you before the set? Has he showed interest or Ruyakfuna or something, or you just noticed what happened on set?
It's still there.
Hello? Hello?
Might have lost her.
Are you sure it's still
Okay,
connected?
she's gone. I think it's network. I'll try.
From about a week, but we understand there's no data.
Did you see the statement that came through in one of the comments? Some woman like sent a statement.
Okay, just back.
Just one under.
You're gonna read that when I'm done with the call. So I wanted to ask. Ubeke work share before or flirt with you before the scene, or that's the mistake. That's the only thing that happened on set.
No, the only thing he did, which I found a bit weird, was like he didn't shell me, he didn't flirt with me before the scene, none of that. But the thing that he did on the scene, he just kept like saying some very underhanded comments and like denoting that I'm weak. He kept saying this. He kept trying to say, he's like, Nirvana, you like when you're on set, if you want people to take you seriously, you gotta show up a little. Sometimes don't greet people so that they can respect you. And like, and he would just talk about like how, and then he would say things like, yeah, like the way you show up on set, like it's because I would greet people, right? He's like, you're too open, like it's a bit weak. He would say things like that, and it just made me feel uncomfortable. And like after this whole thing happened, I started to like think about like, oh, like he really feels like he's entitled to do that to me because he thinks that I'm weak. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I have a last question before I start. I wanna play the devil as advocate here.
Yeah.
So isn't the character that he was playing a psycho character?
Yeah.
It is, ne?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, simple. You remember when you shot Outlast?
Mm-hmm.
There's a complete sex scene there, like crazy sex scene.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it happen that even though you rehearsed, the character gets so much into the character, or you, let me say a female is you, because you're also touching the brew on that scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it happen that you get so invested in the character that you make a mistake and touch the co-star in the wrong way? Doesn't it happen?
Well,
Even if that's the case, Sfiso, all she's asking for is an apology. If Vele, what Sfiso is saying is true, or is the case rather, let me rather say that. If what Sfiso is saying or implying is true, that say Homeslice touched her or thrusted her inappropriately by mistake, all she's asking for is an apology. Why is it so hard for someone to say, yo, I'm sorry? You know why it's so hard for someone to say that I'm sorry in this type of case? Because they would mean that he's taking accountability and acknowledging that, yes, I thrusted her without her consent. That is admission. Apologizing in this regard is consent. I mean, it's not consent. It's actually admission that, yes, I did that. And that's why it's so hard for Brew to apologize. Even though he might not be wrong, apologizing might mean that he is wrong. Apologizing might imply that he did what he did. And he agrees that he did what he did. So yes, some people say that, he must just say sorry and let it slide. It's so hard to do that if you feel like you didn't do what you're being accused of doing. Anyway.
The co-star in the wrong way, doesn't it happen?
Well, then if that were to happen, we shouldn't be acting. If people can't control themselves, if people don't understand the boundaries, then we shouldn't be acting. Like, my issue is that there was, like, I'll make an example. I'll also play devil's advocate, Mephistos. There was a real knife on set, right? He took the knife, right, and pretended to stab me. So if he can understand the boundary of this real knife in my hand could stab Nirvana,
that's a great
why
analogy.
can't he understand the boundary of my vagina? Like,
that's a great analogy.
Said no.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's that simple. Like, if you get carried away acting, right, and you don't know what the line is, that means
yo, what up, Dwayne?
on set.
What up, Dwayne?
Yeah, no, Nota, who's the lady you want to read?
No, I don't think it's necessary to go through it. I actually read the statement, and it doesn't seem like it responds. It's like people in support of saying within the industry, because we know sometimes things are divided.
Okay, so basically Nota wants to know what's happening now. Are you getting the support and everything from everybody else and the team that you worked with? Is there some sort of movement happening. And to his question, I'm going to add, what do you want to see happen so we can close?
The industry seems very divided. Celebrities seem very divided with this whole situation. Simply because a lot of people feel like this was all in respect or during an act of a violent scene and a sexual assault scene. So if all of this happened in the context of acting, these people are at work. These are professionals at work, and they're trying to make us believe that this person is getting arged. I'm not going to say the word. You know exactly what I'm trying to say. We all going to act like this person is getting arged. Okay? It has to be believable. You know what I'm saying? The viewers have to be like, shocked. Social media is supposed to say, yo, the scene that we just watched now on Skim Sam or whatever, crazy. It felt so real. You know, when people start commenting in the comments of TV shows or movie shows that like say, yo, like people take shit personally, like, oh my God, I hate this guy. That's how you know that the character was played down to the T. Whoever played a character that pisses people off, that bro can act, or that lady can act. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the goal of actors and actresses, to actually make things look so real. You know what I mean? I forgot what I want to say, but yeah, let's keep going anyway. Blood clot.
Okay, well...
need to stop smoking as well, you see now.
I definitely have been receiving support from my community.
Or saying that celebrities are now divided. Some of them feel like, yeah, you know what, Nirvana, we're going to support you because all women are right. Hashtag all women are right, believe all women. Then there's another group that's like, but guys, they were working. That was a work situation. Now, here's the part that people are not really, seeing as black and white. I managed to read her whole statement. I managed to read his statement as well. So what's very, very black and white for me as somebody who's so invested in this whole case, I was able to draw exactly what she's trying to say. All she's saying is that everything that happened didn't happen during the scene or the shot that was being taken. It happened after the shot was taken. Why the blood clot are you still pressing your pelvis onto my booty after the scene has been shot? That's all she's trying to figure out. And people are like, no, you guys were working. Yes, they were working. Stupid, of course they were working. The problem is that he thrusted into her booty after the scene was shot. Why are you thrusting in me after the shanties has been done? Our work is done. We are at work during the shoot of the scene. When the camera is on, yes, now we're working. When the camera is off, we're not working. That's all she's trying to say. That this happened after the script was done. Our goal was achieved. We were now at close up. That's what they call it in acting terms. You guys in the comments here, you can tell us exactly what close up means. I'm not going to explain it. Even in the court of law, she violated her. Or rather, he violated her. Well, it's tricky, dog. It's tricky. She was on a call with a cop, and the cop was asking her a series of questions. And the cop was like, bruh, hey, it's going to be hard to prove this in court because, firstly, you don't have any witnesses, any eyewitnesses. No one is willing to come forward and actually tell us exactly what happened, even though you claim that there were people on the scene, there were producers or not. But nobody is willing to come forward and tell us exactly what happened, so it's going to be hard for you to prove your case, especially considering the fact that there's no footage as well. Even though there's a scene that was shot, but the camera was taken off the scene after the shot was taken. So very tricky situation, chat. This one is a tricky one, okay? But yeah, let's keep going, whatever.
What do you want to see happen so we can close?
Okay. Well, I definitely have been receiving support from my community, right? Meaning my family, people from Guamashu, people from Denver, Jewel Street, people that I grew up with and went to school with, people who are my genuine fans who don't believe that women deserve to be violated or killed. All of those people are supporting me. All of the people that care about me.
Ma'am, you can't say that just because people are not supporting you, it means that women need to be violated and whatnot. What are you saying, ma'am? She's basically saying that the opposite of the people who are supporting me basically want women to be violated and abused. No, ma'am, don't do that.
Genuine fans who don't
do that. Don't do that.
People from Guamashu, people from Denver, Jewel Street, people that I grew up with and went to school with, people who are my genuine fans who don't believe that women deserve to be violated or killed. All of those people are supporting me. All of the people that care about me and believe that, like, I, as a human being, deserve to be respected and that no person must dominate me and think that they are entitled to my body, those people are supporting me.
Okay.
You can't do that, Miss Nirvana. I'm sorry. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? This is all this is open for interpretation and debate since you made it public, okay? You made it public and it's open for debate. So you can't now frame everybody or class everybody as people who want or think that women deserve to be sexually assaulted and killed just simply because they disagree with your version of the story. That's very unfair, man. You know what I'm saying? We call that emotional blackmail. You can't emotionally blackmail people who oppose your side of the story, okay? I mean, let's say, for instance, this was to go in a court hearing. This ends up being the biggest court case that we ever seen in the country, and there's a judge that has to, go through the evidence that's been collected. And if there was an investigation that was conducted, the judge has to go through the findings of the police. If there's witnesses, if there's a jury involved. Let's say, for instance, the judge and the jury feels like, there's no case here. You were not sexually assaulted. This was all in the context of work. And they throw out the case. Does that mean that the judge and the jury and everybody that's opposing your take on the story, does that mean they feel like women need or deserve to be killed? Come on, we can't do that. That's emotional blackmail, man. We're not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So far, I'm finding it hard to take any side between Mr. Khoza and Miss Nokwe, simply because one of them is lying, and I'm not quite sure who it is exactly. You know what I mean? Mr. Khoza says there is footage. There is footage that shows exactly what happened that night. On the 10th of September 2023, he says there's footage. They sat down and they all watched the footage, and the conclusion was that there was no sexual activity that occurred. Let me read to you exactly what Mr. Khoza posted on Instagram, where he says that there's footage, chat. Okay? I'll find it just now. Give me a sec. Might be number 6. Hold on. Bet. Paragraph number 6. It reads that, in this regard, on the 30th of November 2023, representatives from Red Ink Productions, Mnet Swift, senior crew members, and both mine and Miss Nokwe's representative agents viewed their unedited material. There's a video, chat. Okay? All parties confirmed that no thrusting, sexual misconduct, or criminal behavior occurred. The footage simply did not support the allegations that there was thrusting involved. That's what Mr. Khoza is saying. Who's lying between these two people? Is Mr. Khoza lying? Or is Miss Nokwe lying? I don't know. But as we read the chat, Tom Stars is saying in here that that's the thing. In sexual abuse, there's always no witness. Hence, people will always take advantage of women. There won't be third party, but still, it is sexual assault. Very much so. Agreed. But now, the cop was saying that, ma'am, your case is very hard to figure out simply because it's a sexual assault scene that's being acted out. Contractually, you guys were working. You guys are supposed to make it believable that you are getting art. I'm not going to say the word. This is YouTube. You need to make it believable. You know what I'm saying? Yes, there were eyewitnesses there. But if they're not willing to come forward and tell us what happened, it's going to be hard. So that's the tricky part about this case, okay? It will be the case whereby she deals with her trauma and the perpetrator will walk free with confidence of not having a witness, knowing very well he did that. While in this case, there's footage, according to what Mr. Khoza is saying. So if she wants to dead all of the doubt that's been going on the internet, that why is she saying it now? Plus, get the footage and post it. You are entitled to the footage. It might not be your property as the actor. It might be the property of the production team, but try to get footage tried to get the footage and post it, man. Mr. Khoza is saying here that all parties confirmed that no thrusting, sexual misconduct, or criminal behavior occurred. The footage simply did not support the allegations. The footage, get this footage, Ms. Nokwe. Mr. Khoza seems very confident that yes, there's footage and I did nothing wrong. So if there's anybody that I'll believe is the person who has footage, that's the person I'll believe. If we're trying to figure out who's lying between the two. Who has the footage? Show us. Until then, speculator going back and forth on the internet. So be it. Tough.
Deserve to be respected, and that no person must dominate me and think that they are entitled to my body. Those people are supporting me.
Okay.
The others, they're not. And
who are
and
the
that's
others,
okay.
dog?
You can go look on wherever people are publishing this, right?
Okay. So, Nirvana, because I don't have much time, I would like to let you speak because clearly it's going to help. But now I want to know, what do you want to see happen? Okay, he admitted that he made a mistake or is guilty, took responsibility for it. What do you want to see happen?
No, he didn't take responsibility for it. Just saying I'm sorry and saying I take full accountability is not taking accountability, because I requested as a remedy, right? Because when bad things happen, they need to be resolved and amended for. You can't just say I'm sorry and then keep on pushing with your life with no kind of recourse or tangible consequence. And for me, I said to the production, and the production was on board at the time. I don't know when they decided. Well, I actually do know. It was when one of the executives, a white woman in the production, said that I should just go to the cops and they're no longer interested in helping me with the mediation meeting. Fine, that's okay. But I want more people to take ownership of their bodies. In that time, I actually made a presentation proposing a system of accountability within the film industry and a system of quality control. And I'm actually making a Google Drive folder with all of the documentation, all of the correspondence between myself and the production company, the recording of when I went to the police, who were also divided in the definition of sexual assault. So we also have an issue of division of the people upholding the law, not understanding the law as well.
Okay, Niva,
all of that,
I'm running out of time.
Wait.
Why is she talking about, okay, cool. She's talking about the people who are upholding the law, not understanding the law. She's referencing the conversation or the call that she had. If you haven't seen that yet, I did a stream before this one 2 hours ago where we were going through the call that she had with a cop. Go check on my channel, you see it's there on my channel, okay? She had a conversation with a cop, and the cop was saying, ma'am, your Google definition of a sexual assault is different from the one that we have here in the book of law, in the rule of law of South Africa. He was talking about page 9. She was insisting that please read to me page 9, sir. He's pressing this cop on the phone to say, please, Kupa, obale page 9 abuti, because what you're saying is that your definition of sexual assault is different from the one that the understanding that I have. And if I'm going to put myself in a situation where I'm going to open a case about sexual assault, please make me understand if I'm on the same page with the law. The cop was refusing to read number 9, whatever the definition is there on number 9 of sexual assault. So that's why she's talking about there seems to be a misunderstanding as to the law's understanding of sexual assault and the public's or her understanding of sexual assault. So just go reference that previous stream to go hear exactly what she's talking about in connection with what she's saying now on Podcast and Chill with MacG, or rather Music Pulse or Piano Pulse, whatever you want to call it.
Understanding the law as well.
Okay, Niva,
all of that,
I'm running out of time.
Wait.
I'm running out of time.
One more thing. I just want to ask, maybe this might be a more on the personal side of things, but after doing sex scenes on things like Netflix, how does that affect your public perception? Let's say off screen, when men approach you now, do they approach you with the sex scenes that they've seen you in mind? Do they treat you like some sort of sexual object now because you've performed in those scenes? And do you feel like being asked to perform in such scenes to bring eyeballs to Netflix, is it fairly compensated for when having to deal with, now being publicly exposed on, a international or global platform?
Sorry, Chad.
Well, first of all, I want to say that Netflix is actually doing a good job in terms of creating and cultivating safety for people within the production companies. I would say that in terms of production companies, there's a lot of them that aren't doing the right work, and there's a lot of them who are doing the right work, and those people are divided, right? It's a whole ecosystem, but more often than not, there's a lot of people who are in positions of power that shouldn't be in positions of power, that are basically hijacking what it is that we want for the industry, and which is for people to earn a living in a dignified manner, right? So men, in particular, to your question, harassed me more before I was famous, right? They harassed me more before I was hyper visible. Right. They harassed me more. So to what you're saying, like, before I even did the sex scene, I had been raped twice, right? Before people even saw my body in the public, I was violated when I was a child. What's the point of your question?
The point is that, I think, does the exposure and it being seen public affect you personally after you act in the scenes? Because we understand the sensitivity of now having been violated and someone who's gone through trauma because of your work, and the compensation for the risk of trauma.
Okay. So, in terms of compensation, whether you're doing a sex scene or not, it isn't fair in the film and TV industry. The compensation is not fair, and also, if you, for example, I'm Zulu, right? Or umemulo, like I'm going to do this year, I'm going to be outside, and I'm not sexualized by the Zulu people in my community who actually uphold the values of human dignity. So my body is not inherently a sexual thing, which is why people can still respect me. And also there are people who try to cross the boundary because that's how the whole system is. It has nothing to do with whether you have done a sex scene or not, that people are going to harass you more or not. Right. I was harassed before the sex scene.
Okay, in short, what do you want to see happen? Do you want him to get shot?
Second time, Sfiso is asking this question.
Do you want to see him arrested? Do you want to see him
cancelled? She already answered
what
this
do you
question,
want? What do you want to achieve? It's a question.
Well, I did ask for a written apology, and they agreed to it, and then they asked me, instead of a written apology, can we do a mediation meeting? And that didn't happen, and then they just isolated me. They abandoned and isolated me. So I don't...
Sounds like this was all going to be slipped under the rug if she had received a written apology. You feel what I'm saying? Tobeka is saying that, Nirvana, find the mediator for this case. Mediator is trained very well on how to go about these issues. Avoid being on social media and end up sounding like Ray J. While they are mediators, and the reason why she came public with the story, Ms. Tobeka, is because she didn't get help from the mediators. The production team was supposed to get a written apology for her from the accused. Never happened, never transpired. You know why? Who knows? Who knows, really? Probably because it didn't happen, or it happened and they were trying to slip it under the rug. I mean, it's been how many years now? 3 years, issue. All of this happened in September, on the 10th of September 2023. You do feel what I'm saying? So it's almost 3 years now, 3-4 years, and still nothing has happened. According to Mr. Khoza, she tried to open a case back in 2024, but she tried to open a case early 2024, right? And he was only contacted May 2024, right? To say that, Buta, you're being accused of sexual assault, and this is you're being served, okay? And you're gonna get investigated. Apparently, according to him, he did get investigated, and everything was pretty much conducted, and there was no case found. Now, fast forward 2 years later in 2026, and still, she never got her apology. And Mr. Khoza is standing 10 toes. He's saying, bro, I'm not gonna apologize for something that I didn't do. Now, all I'm saying is, where is the footage? You just smell me? Where is the footage? Dwayne is saying, oh, I thought this was the hand that was accusing Nota of assault. Oh, no. This is the lady who's accusing Home Slice, Bonko Khoza, of sexual assault, okay? Wow, this is an old case for real. It's long overdue. Long overdue. And that's why a lot of people are saying, but why is she talking about it now? Why is she bringing it up now? Why now? Do you feel me? Before we close off, I have some closing remarks. So let's just listen to them closing this call, and then I'll have some closing remarks leading on to the next live stream that we'll be doing. Make sure you click the like button while you're at it.
I don't want anything from my costar, and I don't want anything. Apology, can we do a mediation meeting? And that didn't happen, and then they just isolated me. They abandoned and isolated me. So I don't want anything from my co-star, and I don't want anything from the production company. But what I do want people to do is sign the petition on creating a quality control independent body to regulate the film and television industry. That's what I want.
No matter how you feel about this case, no matter if you're taking Mr. Khoza's side or Ms. Nokwe's side, or if you're neutral, every single person on this planet needs to go sign that petition. I'll do it on stream if I have to. I'll be the first to do it on stream. You know what I mean? Simply because all she's asking for is more protection in these types of cases, in these types of situations where there's sexual activity being involved or being filmed in the film industry. That's what she's asking for. How is that a bad thing to ask for? You know what I'm saying? So even if she does get an apology or not, the reason why she's bringing all of this up in 2026 is because it traumatized her. You know what I mean? It traumatized her, and she feels like she doesn't want anybody else to experience what she experienced in this industry. Apparently, she stopped acting completely because of this ordeal. You know what I mean? I beg to differ. I think that she stopped acting completely because she's not getting booked. She's not getting any gigs. Why? Because she's a flight risk. Every time something goes wrong, now you're going to go on social media and start sending 1,000 emails and opening cases against your co-stars. You are a risk to the production. You are a risk for the film industry. I think that's the reason why she just stopped acting completely, because I am Fana. I don't know, man. These things need to be, under wraps. Unfortunately, that's the dark reality of Hollywood. I'm sorry, Chad. I'm sorry. That's the dark reality of Hollywood. They would rather have this not being in public, because this is going to make Netflix look bad. Netflix is a worldwide renowned production mega house. You know what I'm saying? So all of this is looking bad on Netflix. It's looking bad on the production team that was responsible for all of this back in September 10th, 2023. Mnet is there. Allegedly. Mnet is there. You know what I'm saying? So this looks bad on the guys. Okay, cool. So here are my closing remarks, which is driving traffic from this stream to the next stream. These closing remarks over here. Here's the problem, Chad. I did a bit of research online, and I found that Miss Nokwe is not a qualified actress. Mr. Khoza, however, is a qualified actor. He has all the credentials. Why is a brew that has all the credentials, all the skill in the world, all the experience in the world, being paid to operate a sex scene with somebody who has maybe just as much experience, but not the qualification to do the scene in the first place? This is like me pairing, I don't know, the player tsa diski tsa Mvela League with PSL niggas. No, Mvela with UEFA champion niggas. It's like I said, these are two different worlds, two different levels of football. You know what I mean? Why am I playing player tsa Mvela le player tsa UEFA? It's not a good match. And that's why you end up having problems like these. Look at our government, for instance. Our systems are not working in this country because the people who are operating the tenders that are being dished out by the government are people who are not qualified to operate these things. A few years ago, there was a tender that was dished out for a website or whatever, and they were charged like 200 million rands, allegedly, and the people who were handling the tender produced a WordPress website, and it wasn't even working. The people who were awarded the tender were not even qualified to operate the damn thing. So you guys, the production, gave somebody who's underqualified to perform scenes of this nature. And this is what is the result of your actions and your decisions there as the team. Because a professional knows that, say, oh, flip, yeah, 5 years, 10 years ago when I was still graduating or still, working my way up in the industry or at school, we were rehearsing sexual or grape with a G, YouTube, grape act. So I'm going to use that experience to operate this one with Mr. Khoza. This lady doesn't have that experience. So that's the next stream that we're gonna have shortly, chat. Yeah. So yeah, it's linked. When this stream ends, it's gonna pop up. So just click that one, and then I'm gonna quickly drink some water and hop onto that one, and I'm just gonna show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. One is qualified, the other is not. Okay. Just to close off, I'm gonna read the chat quickly. Sad for real. She must just keep strong. God will use her to be the voice of the victims. Just keep on believing and keep on praying for God's grace. Facts. I always say the entertainment industry is not built for women who think it's about entertainment. True that. Ifuna inja the game. Hey dog, acting is not easy, bro. I thought I could act until I was given the chance to operate, and then I just flunked it. So yeah, acting is not for the faint-hearted. Chat, catch you guys on the next stream in about 10 minutes. I just need to drink some water. Love and leave you guys. Please click the like button before you leave the stream. I believe. Thank you.